Okay, so just to fix up these arms to be normal-ish size before we do it, I'm gonna stretch them and move them in. So now, really fat arms, but that's about closer to a normal length. So now we've got our character, he's standing in a position. We're going to have to get him some bones. As soon as I find where we keep them. Yeah. So now we've got our character. Let's drag out a set of biped because it's just a person to fit in. And just so you can see half of what we're doing. So our feet are about the same height, the head fits about the same thing. It all works. Yep. And once again, it makes him visible though. And freeze. So I'll just move it back so I can see the outline, but not see. Yep. So now we're just going to try and position our arms and our legs to be in about the same place or the middle of our person. Yes. I just tried to scale my hip, which it isn't to do because we're not in this mode. And so we're going to put a biped in figure mode and redo everything I just did because without figure mode it's just not going to remember. It thinks we're at. So we can move everything across. I'm still not going to move because I haven't selected the origin, which is, if you see somewhere, that little triangle, it's called BIP01, it's the origin of our model. That is the center point of the rig of the biped. So without it, every bone is linked to that point in your model. So now I'll just move the arms out to arms. It's being animated. Basically, the mode, it remembers what shape you put it into. So now I'm just going to stretch out each of these bones to try and fit the same size and shape and position on where they'd be in a real person if my person model was a person. No. Like when we do the rigging, yes, there's another symmetry modifier we can apply there, but not for this. Now, I'm going to need to see. It can, but I'm just going to move each of them individually. Yeah, just trying to fit them in the right place, which means that I put that in too low. And I'll just scale it back till the foot touches the bottom of the model. As you noticed just before, when I double clicked, it selected the bone and the next bone underneath it. So if I double click here without actually getting the model, or if I double click on the foot, it'll select the toe as well, because the toe is further down the rigging tree than the foot. Yeah, so which bone controls which bone. But yes, you can try and do both of them at the same time. I tend not to because the stitching angles on these bones are weird. It's the simplest explanation I've got. So for some reason, the X angle, which is completely random and compared to the position it's at, is stretching it that way. Now, since I've got hands which are facing this way, I'm going to turn this around. And that's going to be my hand. That can rotate down so that the arm's actually within arm. And I'm going to move that up. And stretch that out. Also, now we're in the animation, the motion tab. With figure mode on, there's a tab called structure. So if you want to have an extra toes or fingers on your, so say we want a lot of fingers or none, it's got sliders there to do that. You can have extra ponytails on the back of your head, go all the way down to attach your hair to if to. I've got my thumb's upside down on the model, I've now realized, so I'm just going to be weird and turn my hand the wrong way around. Cool.
Good morning, staff and students.
Okay, and another thing that's a good idea to do, although you don't have to, is to scale all your bones to try and fit the same size model. So if my head's that big, it can be that big, because that way when you model the biped by itself without actually looking at the model you've attached it to, it will look similar because it'll be the same size and shape in the same place. But I'm not going to do this at the moment. Just going to get fingers and point them in the same direction.
So at the time it's probably advisable not to draw our own bones and rig them, just to use bipedes.
Yeah. Like, the only real reason you want to draw your own bones and rig them most of the time is if you've got something that doesn't. Yeah.
Is there a quadruped built in?
No, not that I know of. There could be, but not since I used it.
So we're really doing bipeds as characters.
And so once again, since our thumb bone is bigger than that bone, we'll just make it a similar size. That should about, apart from the feet are too far forward, we'll move them back.
So if you turn the mesh back on, that's when you see the bones poking through.
Yeah. And since I'm not really using the toes at this point. I'm going to turn them off as soon as make them as small as it lets me. Since we've got huge feet, we're going huge feet. Okay, so now we're ready to rig our model.
Does that